Bears fans, I hope you are ready because Sunday is the biggest women's basketball game for Baylor since the 2019 national championship. Let's get locked on Baylor.
You are Locked On Baylor, your daily podcast on the Baylor Bears. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Whoa there, welcome in Bears fans. It's a special bonus edition of Locked On Baylor. Happy Thursday night to you. Maybe Friday morning, depending on when you're listening to this. But Sunday, we have the biggest Baylor women's basketball game in years. I'm your host, Cam Stewart of ESPN Central Texas and the Cam Show on YouTube. Appreciate you making it your first listen today and every day. Bonus because this is such a big matchup. Baylor, TCU, Foster Pavilion, 5:30 p.m. Central Time on Sunday. The biggest women's basketball game since the Bears won it all in 2019. The biggest game since Nicki Collen has been here. And you'll say, Cam, that's ridiculous. They won the Big 12 championship in 2022. Remember that? Walked all over whomever it was. I think it was Kansas State maybe in the last game of the regular season. Clinched that. You know, they beat Virginia Tech on their home floor in the tournament last year. They went to the Sweet 16. How is this the biggest? Because it's got the most hype. Okay? Because TCU, that team on the other side, is actually really good. And there's a rivalry here, and these two teams don't like each other. They played to an absolute classic in Fort Worth earlier this season, and now it's all on the line. These are the greatest of games because there's no real buildup necessary. Two rivals, last game of the regular season, winner wins the Big 12 championship. How's it going to be? TCU's never won the Big 12. They haven't won a conference championship in 15 years. This is supposed to be their time to turn things around as a top 10 team. They beat you for the first time in 35 years the last time you guys played. Is it going to be TCU's conference now? Because there's no more UT. There's no more Kim Mulkey. Is this going to be TCU's time? Or Baylor, are you going to take this thing back? You came into this season with ambitions of winning the Big 12 championship. You dealt with injuries. You dealt with coaches getting fired in the middle of the year and the controversy that surrounds that. You've had ups and downs, but here you are. Just got to win a home game, and you're the Big 12 champs. They're the two hottest teams in the conference, two of the hottest teams in women's college basketball. TCU winners of 6 in a row coming into this. Baylor winners of 9 in a row. And ready to take back that crown. It's also big because, you know, when they won it in 2022, everyone was saying, oh, well, yeah, it was Kim Mulkey's players. Just 1 year removed from Mulkey. Melissa Smith, National Player of the Year. How are you not going to win a conference championship with her on your team? Oh, and last year, Virginia Tech, best player was hurt. That doesn't mean anything. Well, if we're going to talk about those kinds of things, Baylor's at the disadvantage here. Still no update as of Thursday evening on Dariana Littlepage Buggs or Bella Fauntleroy. And this is a way different team without them. They found a way to get really gritty down the stretch at Kansas State. You know, a team that was 14th in the nation. They went out and took them down without Buggs and with Fauntleroy going out in that game. So you made that happen. And now it's like, if I'm Nicki Collen, message to them is like kind of how I built this up. What's it going to be? This is the group that Nicki Collen put together that is trying to get Baylor back to where they need to be and get Nicki that national respect that they think she deserves and she might well deserve. This is where you earn it. You come to Baylor to compete for championships. This is it. This is it right here. One game at home, last game of the regular season. Your most hated rivals on the other side. This is awesome for our conference and for our program. Okay? Because this is the biggest game that feels like they've played since winning the national championship in 2019. They should have took down UConn to go to the Final Four in 21. But this feels like if you win this one, you're back. Now, the measure of success at Baylor is Final Four national championship in women's basketball. So hopefully this won't be their biggest win of the year. Hopefully. But this is where you start it. A win over TCU on Sunday would prove that it's almost like, what are they going to say now? This is a team with pretty much all Nicki here. I know Sarah Andrews played a year for Kim Mulkey. But it's basically Nicki's team. I mean, not basically. It is. She's been the head coach for 4 years. Okay? It's Nicki's team here. Can't say, it was all Kim Mulkey's girls that won the 2022 Big 12. Can't say that. And this team is better than they were last year. So, we'll put aside what they did last year because they could go even further this year. But it starts with this. At Baylor, you compete for championships in women's basketball. Here it is. And this is so exciting, not just for Baylor, but for TCU. We don't like TCU. We don't want TCU to win anything. But it's good for the game and for this rivalry when they're both good. And TCU is that good. Should Sedona Prince be out there on the floor and maybe not somewhere? Look, who am I to say? I trust the American justice system most of the time. But this is going to be a knockdown, drag-out, one-game playoff, championship-style game because the winner raises the banner. And if you're Baylor, I know they try to keep it in the moment, but if you're looking at this holistically, the way that we do as fans, it's like, man, we are women's basketball in this conference. TCU ain't. That's us. Go out there and prove it. It's going to take a lot of guts without Fauntleroy and without Dariana Little-Page Buggs, because that's what we're looking at right now. But this win would go a long way for Nicki Collen and would go a long way, I think, for this team as well, that is playing with supreme confidence. They have been for a month now. They're one of the hottest teams in college basketball. If they win this and already have a championship under their belt for the season with a couple of their best players on the bench potentially, you have those notches to your belt. You see how it's done because this group hasn't really seen how it's done. Then you're like, let's go out and do some more. We didn't know what it was like to win a championship, but we did go to the Sweet 16 last year. Now we've got that experience. So if they win this game, look out, America. Look out, America. And don't you dare put a ceiling on how far this Baylor women's basketball team can go. But it starts on Sunday. And we do the bonus episodes because we need you guys to understand how big this is. Let me know in the comments below. Are you going to be there? Are you going to be making noise? What's your score prediction? Drop it down in the comment section below and tell me how big this would be for Nicki Collen and for this program and for this university. Let me know. Like and subscribe. That helps out the channel a lot. Find us wherever you find your podcast. Hit that notification button on YouTube to get notified every time we're dropping videos here on the tube, including these bonus episodes, because sometimes they creep up out of nowhere. We're going to have a little crossover edition tomorrow with Locked On Hoosiers to talk some Scott Drew. He asked me to. I think it'll be very intriguing for Friday's show. And then we will see you kind of on the other side of a big-time basketball weekend. Until then, thank you for making it your first listen today and every day. And we'll see you down the road on Locked On Baylor.